All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Just realized I got tons of dog hair on me because I was messing with the dog. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, I'm coming in okay. It is a Thursday night stream, a little different than normal. We need a wave motion gun. The Kraken will be mine this year. The Kraken could be yours maybe late next year. It's possible. Or do you mean pledging for it? Maybe pledging for it this year, right? On Drake Day, Altzilla, are you attempting to get a Kraken this year? Citizen Spooner, hey, how are you, man? Nice to see you. Hope the streams have been going well. Everybody, make sure you go give Citizen Spooner a follow if you haven't. I will pop that into chat right now. Hopefully that works. And there it is. Make sure you go give Citizen Spooner a follow. Real good dude. I've been really enjoying his streams, so make sure you check him out if you can. Citizen, I hope you've been doing well, buddy. Rest of you, let's get into it tonight, shall we? So, got a few things to go over real quick. I'm going to jump into it like I normally do. No big surprises here. First, we're going to talk about Quantum Vegas 2955, huge Star Citizen event happening on July 12th, 2025. You're going to want to make sure you get tickets for this soon if you're interested in going. It's going to be a really, really cool event. Again, it's happening in 50 days. If you're a little worried about ticket prices to Vegas hotel rooms, prices are pretty affordable right now because Vegas is in a little bit of a downturn. But it's going to be an incredible event. We got CIG that's going to be in attendance. They are one of the sponsors of this. Sean Tracy, Senior Director of Tools and Tech Content, will be there. For those of you who don't know, Sean Tracy's been at Cloud Imperium from the very beginning, like from, I don't know if it was day one, but it's damn near day one. So he's one of the OGs of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. We'll also have Tyler Whitkin, Xylo himself, and Galactica there as well. Who knows? There could be other CIG people there. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not real sure. But CIG will have a presence there. Griffin Gaming and Serious Fun will both be there. They're doing a lot of effort putting the event together. So big shout out to them. Nate and Kim Ellis from EE Studios. They do all the really cool machinima. They will be there. DePoets, of course, tech content creator, Nick at Night, great event organizer, by the way. Nick at Night, really, really cool guy, too. Paul Shelley, the Astro Historian, will be there, and yours truly, STARJUMP Grim. We'll all be doing panels of some sort, too. I'm actually going to do a live kit bashing panel where we build an Anvil capital ship, so I got to start getting ready for that. Commander Fran from the Beacon Event Squad, he'll be there as well. Commander Fran, really nice dude as well. So again, you can go to the website. I encourage you to check it out. If you can get to Vegas, try to go. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to have some STARJUMP swag there, so be happy to give it out to people. Oh, there's Execute. Execute, I hope you're doing well, buddy. I watched your Crusader Day video the other day. It was a interesting watch. I did enjoy it. So yeah, everyone, try to come if you can. If you're in the area, especially try to come. There is a program here on the website that has all the panels. There's going to be some incredible raffles. I know CIG is supplying a lot of ships to raffle off. I can't remember how many it is, but it's like, I don't know, it's like 20 ships or something like that, and some nice ones. So it's going to be a really, really cool event. Again, like I said, your ticket too gets you access to the event space as well. And if I play it down here, you can see the event space is just really cool. It's called Area 15 in Las Vegas. It's just a trippy madhouse type place. Got a really big event room too. That's going to be cool for Quantum Vegas to happen in. So yeah, Execute. I've had a few people want a way to stream. I know they are going to stream the Machinima Awards because there are going to be some Machinima Awards that are happen at this. There's a meeting every couple of weeks for all the people putting it on. Those of us that are sponsors, and STARJUMP is a sponsor. I will bring that up because I've had a lot of people request that, and it would be cool if there could be some sort of streaming aspect to it. I'll have to ask about that though. I'll have to ask about that. I'm not in charge of all the tech stuff here. But anyways, it's going to be really cool, everyone. I encourage you to go to the website, check it out. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I am going to be on stage attempting to do a live kit bash of an Anvil Capital, and I think we might integrate the audience into it where they'll have choices between like part A, part B. They choose a part, I plug it in, we go to the next part, part A. It's going to be a mess. I'm sure there's no way this is going to go smoothly, especially it's like an hour stream. So I got a or an hour session. So we'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, I'll have to ask Execute. I don't know what the full tech setup is there, but I'll definitely ask about it. That'd be kind of cool. But yes, everyone, Quantum Vegas 2955. Make sure you check it out. Website I have put down in chat. Next thing I want to talk about is STARJUMP Guardians St. Jude initiative for 2025 happening during April. And now it's happening during May. These are the 2 months we do it. Really cool charity initiative started by STARJUMP Ender a few years back. And we've really been kicking ass this year. So if I go back to here, you'll see our lifetime raise is $34,993. Maybe tonight is the night that we get bumped up over $35,000. I think we're only $7 away. But you can see top there, $18,550 is how much we've raised for the month of April and May. We do want to try to get to $20,000 by the end of May. Don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. We'll try. But for those of you curious, we got some really cool stuff up for raffle. Let's switch over to the raffle section because I got some announcements for this. Okay, first one on May 24th. So in 2 days, we'll be giving away a fortune with Sunspot paint. That is only a $15 donation towards our Tiltify link. Okay. When you donate there, you will just choose Misc Fortune. That's one of the options you can add to cart, and you get a raffle ticket for every $15 you donate. Okay. You can donate a $20 donation towards the Tiltify link, and on May 27th, we will do a giveaway for a Super Hornet. So a $20 donation, you can get that raffle ticket for the Super Hornet. Okay. And the big one, on May 30th, we're going to have a big special finale episode where for a $100 donation, which you can do right now, that gets you a ticket for an RSI Polaris Corvette. Okay, we do not have a ton of entries for this. So, you know, $100 donation, you have a pretty good chance of winning a $975 ship. Now, here's the other cool news that is very new. But on that May 30th episode, if you've donated towards that RSI Polaris Corvette, when we do the drawing for the Corvette, someone will win that, obviously. But then we're going to choose a runner-up name. That person will win an Anvil Asgard. And then we're going to choose one more runner-up name, and that person's going to get a Mirai Guardian MX. So on that finale night of May 30th, we have 3 ships we're going to be giving away. And we're also going to give away probably 1 to 2 STARJUMP Challenge coins. So, yeah. So it's going to be a big night. Polaris Corvette, Anvil Asgard, Mirai Guardian MX, and then 2 challenge coins. And that will be the finale of our fundraising for this year. So big shout out to everyone in chat who has donated. We wanted to make sure that we had some awesome raffle prizes for you all, and our community did not disappoint. And for that, I want to make sure that we thank the following people. I want to thank GearCon, has been donating a ton this year, has donated all the big capital ships, the Polarises that we've given away, the 600i, the Carrack. So GearCon, if you're in chat or watching this later, buddy, thank you very much. Also want to do a big shout out to Bingo Winchester, donated some ships, has also helped STARJUMP and in-person events and stuff like that. So big shout out to Bingo. Lazy Donuts, of course, longtime STARJUMP supporter, donating ships as well. We can't thank Lazy enough. And then, of course, James from Icon City, who we are a partner of, has donated Stream Deck for this, as well as a Star Citizen Icon pack. So, you know, big shout out to James. Thank you very much, everybody, for those. We will probably have an additional person, too, because that May 30th finale, The Guardian and Mechs and the Asgard, I think, are being donated by a new donator. So we'll make sure to thank that person as well. But again, thank you. It's been incredibly successful. I know you all have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of great discussions over the course of April, May, and it's just been great to sort of reconnect with everybody. Yes, my dog is in my lap, everybody. Hope that's okay. All right. Let me switch back over here to, bear with me. Okay, there is our Tiltify. Again, we're real close, everybody, to our ultimate $20,000 goal and very close to 35,000 raised lifetime. Okay, so let's switch back over here. Let's see. Perseus, Avi ID says, so Perseus probably coming end of year, and there are things happening to do a Perseus giveaway at some point. More information on that later in the year. Sounds like some people are enjoying the Guardian MX. Oh, E2 Kairu donating $100. Oh my goodness, for the RSI Polaris and a red wagon for St. Jude. And he labeled it beans. Guess he wants me to do beans tonight. Kairu, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. I have the beans right here. We are going to do those here in just a second. Let me get this dog off me. Maybe the dog will go lay down. But thank you very much for that donation. That's incredible. We are now over $35,000 lifetime. Congratulations on that. Whenever we hit a big milestone like that, I like to send our good buddy Ender a little congrats on that, because this is his big passion he's been doing for the last few years. I know it means a lot to him. So, all right, let's see here. I will prep a bean. Kairu. I will prep a bean. Let's see here. Wait until, okay. Should I do it now? Artemis says, Grim, are you anticipating a concept ship this weekend? You know, I was anticipating a concept ship, and now I'm starting to get more and more doubtful. I think it's possible we could get a concept from Drake, and if we do, personally, I think it'll be the light, or sorry, the heavy fighter that I think that one silhouette is. Everyone knows I think that one silhouette is a Drake heavy fighter. I fully admit, by the way, that I could be wrong. I know Execute doesn't always agree with me on that, but regardless, I think it's possible. Drake is the last day still. Yep, I agree with the Execute. It's a little odd. It's a little odd. I'm trying to find something. Everybody stand by. It's a little odd, but it's still possible. And in terms of stuff that CIG has shown us, you know, we're still sitting pretty on this concept. Still think this is a heavy fighter of some sort, essentially a neutered Corsair. And I think this is partly because CIG wants the Corsair to do the Corsair thing, and the people who like to use the Corsair for fighting, like for combat, pure combat, this is supposed to be that substitute. However, I do have some doubts about this now. I did have some. He didn't change my mind, Altzilla. He made me doubt myself a little bit. He did make me doubt myself a little bit. That Reliant does have some attributes that is very much like that as well. Okay, everybody, we're doing a bean real quick. Kairu donating $100. That gets a bean for sure, everybody. Here we go. I hate these things. That was a terrible spin. Here we go. Bean Citizen. All right, what did it land on here? It landed on this one here, which is Tutti Frutti or Stinky Socks. I don't know if you can look at that. Tutti Frutti or Stinky Socks. So we're going to look for that one and get this done, everybody. How is everybody enjoying Invictus so far this year? Has the new format been to everyone's liking? Has everyone liked the new format? I gotta find this bean. Uh-oh. Everyone, I'm out of those. Oh, nope, I'm not. Oh, Broken Helmquist just raided with 7 viewers. Broken, thank you very much for the raid. You just sent the Kraken overhead. I hope you had a great stream. What'd you get up to? What did you get up to tonight? Okay, I think we have our bean, everybody. I think we have our bean. Okay, stand by. Let me close the container. It's been, let's see here. Nice to see you, Broken. Thank you for coming over and sending your audience over here and trusting them over here. I appreciate that. Let me do a shout out for you. I really need some channel mods here. Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, that worked. Everybody go check out Broken's channel. Thank you very much for that raid. Hanging out over in Pyro. Oh, very cool. Very cool. You know, I haven't been to Pyro yet. I need to jump with the Idris. All right, everybody, going to do the bean. Wish me luck. Here it is. It is in my hand. Here we go. I don't want to do this. It doesn't smell good. Kairu, this is for you. This is for you. Here we go. All right. Oh, God. That's wet dog. That is wet dog. Oh, man. Oh, God. That is bad. What flavor did we land on again? Oh, it's stinky socks. Oh, God. I may have to swallow this. I may have to swallow this. Oh, man. This is bad. Oh, bingo. You are a mod. I didn't mean it that way. I more meant that, like, man, I need to get like a full-time mod because I cannot manage Windows. Broken, thank you very much for the raid. Thanks for sending your people over. I appreciate you. Everyone, please follow the channel if you like STARJUMP content. Don't forget to check out STARJUMP Fleet Viewer if you've never been there before. Hopefully you have. I will put that into chat. This is terrible. This is officially terrible. Oh, God. All right. I shot glassed it. I swallowed it. It was good. That was horrible. That was officially stinky socks. A little bit short of breath on that one. Yeah. Ender may not believe I got a bad bean. That is true. That is true. That is true. Everyone, what are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about just a few things, really. It's kind of an open conversation night. We're going to talk a little bit about 4.2 information that's come out. And we're going to talk a little bit about Invictus, other stuff that may pop up. But for now, we can talk about the concept stuff. We'll go back to that conversation. I mean, to be totally honest with you, there are a few concepts I would like to see be shown to us sooner rather than later. I feel like it's been forever since we've had a concept ship. And look, I know a lot of people out there. I don't know how all of you feel, but I know a lot of people out there, whenever CIG does the whole concept thing, there can sometimes can be kind of a negative reaction from people, like, oh, you know, get the backlog done. Don't be doing more new concepts. But I'm still one of those people. I get excited by new concepts, and I think they're fun. And again, I'm excited. I get excited whenever there's a new concept ship, so I'm all about it. I did want to get this question. Raptor Man on YouTube says, when is Fleet Viewer updating with all the new dream boats? You got an update on that, everybody. Let me swing over. So they are all done. All the ships are done. Both VMXEO and myself have done work for new ships this year. Big shout out to VMXEO for all of his work this year, especially. So they are done. I can show you some of them if you want, just to prove that they're done. Here's the Asgard. There you go. Looking great. Great job. All the decals are on it, all the wear and tear. So the Asgard is done. We have, let's see, what was the other ship? What other ships did we do? Oh, yeah, the Guardian MX, right? Got to have the Guardian MX. That's here. Also looks fantastic. Nice job, VM, on that one. So it's the Guardian MX. We also have the Greycat MTC. Let's take a look. Let's see how it came out, everybody. There's the Greycat MTC, looking awesome. Great job. And what was the other ship? What was the other? Oh, the Starlancer Attack. The Starlancer Attack, of course. But here's the thing. We didn't just do the Starlancer Attack. We redid the Starlancer as well. I'll show you that first. I really like it. Came out great. There it is, Starlancer Max. And then the Starlancer Attack came out incredible. We'll show you that right now. There it is, the Starlancer Attack, everybody. So the question is, when are they coming to Fleet Viewer? Well, after me and VMXEO's work, it then gets formatted and conformed to be scale appropriate and is then sent to Starlet. Starlet is the one that then takes the assets that have been created and ingests them into the live build of Fleet Viewer. We also have a private build of Fleet Viewer that has like new features and stuff that we're testing things and stuff with. But the live version of Fleet Viewer then gets the ships. It's usually done as soon as the artwork is done, but Starlet is like incredibly busy with work right now. She did just update me yesterday that she was sorry. She's going to get to it. So it could happen later tonight. It could happen tomorrow, but it is going to happen. It's happening soon. I know everyone wants to visualize their fleets with the new ships, so it's coming. I promise. All the artwork's done. Another thing on that is we are going to update the Idris. We're going to put the proper Idris P in there without the node or the chin turret. We're going to put the K kit and T kits in there at some point. The Idris is going to take us a little bit longer because there's a few things we want to do to make sure we're presenting it the right way. But those are coming. Those are coming. That's something I want to get done. So. Okay, let's see here. Let's talk about 4.2 for. Well, actually, you know what? Let's stay on concept ships for a minute. We were talking about concept ships. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Do I think a new concept's coming? Well, I hope so, because again, like I told you, I really enjoy concept ships. I enjoy concept pledges. They get me excited. It's part of the way I just look at this project. You know, a lot of the people look at it as like, hey, I'm buying a ship. I've told you all before. I look at this as, hey, I'm funding a project. So if new ships come out that excite me, I will pledge for them. If they don't excite me, I don't pledge for them. Sometimes I decide to put more money into the game. I only do that if CIG has accomplished milestones that are important to me in the last 6 months. Okay. If CIG has accomplished something cool, I will pledge new money into the game. If they, in the last 6 months, they haven't really got anything across the line that impresses me or satisfies my personal milestones, then I don't put anything in. I just keep it credit. So that's how I approach how I approach putting more money into this project. So there you go. Somebody says, I'm doubting a new concept is coming. I think we would have heard rumors about it. I agree with that, I think. However, it's there is one weird thing about Drake Day. There's one weird thing about Drake Day. You all may have heard me talk about this. As a matter of fact, let me see if I have it. If I have it, I can share it with you. It's something you haven't seen in SC leaks or anything like that. It's something new. I'm just trying to see if I may not have it, but I'm looking for it. Damn it. I'm looking for it. Do I have it? Bear with me. Bear with me, everybody. Sometimes I can find stuff easy. Sometimes I cannot. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. Sorry, I know this is some exciting stream right here. No, it looks like I don't have that image anymore. I don't know why I wouldn't have kept it, but regardless, Simlo Deck, hello, hope you're well. Yes, it is the Hangar. It is the Hangar, but I actually have an image of it, which I'm sure you have not seen yet, but that's okay. It's a Hangar. What are you gonna do? But there is it's called Fleet Week Hangar, and it's a child of the. What's the best way to say this? It's a child of the Drake Hall. It's like in the code. It doesn't mean it's underneath it or anything like that. It's just from a code standpoint, it's like parented to it. That doesn't mean anything. However, what it could mean is it could mean that maybe we're able to go to this hall and see an exterior. Maybe they'll push out a a hot fix or an update the night before, you know, we still got a few days before Drake lands, so who knows? Who knows what could happen, right? I imagine we would know pretty soon, but who knows? It's still possible. Still possible. But even without a new concept ship, you know, it's been a pretty crazy Invictus launch week already with the Idris coming out. So let's see here. Did I miss a question? Green Shield says, STARJUMP, what kind of equipment do you think we can expect from a Drake heavy fighter concept? Well, I'll tell you what I think, Green Shield, and there's probably people that would disagree with me on this, but I think that if we do get a Drake heavy fighter, it's essentially going to be the Corsair, just without the cargo area. That's what I think. It's essentially going to be a Corsair with the back end chopped off and habitation for 1 or 2 people. They're not going to have the 3 or 4 habitation rooms it has. It won't have the big cargo bay for a vehicle and all that. It essentially will be, in my opinion, it'll be a Corsair that's had all that fat chopped off of it, and it's what you probably see in this silhouette. Now, some people I have heard have said, "Oh, it's going to have a huge cross section." I don't think it's that. Um, very, I mean, there's lots of ships that have huge cross sections. That, you know, I mean, the Vanguard series can have a huge cross section from varying directions, right? So, I mean, I don't know how big of a deal that is. I mean, the Corsair is ungodly big. That may just be how Drake builds things. So, I am still leaning towards a Drake ship. I am still leaning towards a heavy fighter. If it's not a heavy fighter, then then I'm thinking it's more like a bounty hunting ship. But even that could be one and the same. It could be like a heavy fighter / bounty hunting ship. But I think personally that's what it is. And I would love to see that concept, you know, be presented to us. Ark Ralph says, did you notice that we thought was the Guardian doesn't really fit the silhouette? Well, the silhouette for the Guardian or the Guardian MX, that did look like it to me. The Guardian MX is larger. It does have these little prongs here on the winglets. Those are confirmed. One thing to remember though is that this silhouette was pretty old back when they showed it. It was the MX probably wasn't done being made, right? So the guns aren't in here and stuff like that. I still think this is the MX. It is possible it's a different variant, maybe some sort of racing variant or something. Mainly because I don't see any combat related stuff with the people, but it could be the Guardian MX as well. It could be the Guardian. There's a lot that does line up about it. Let's see here. Let's see. STARJUMP Graham, I'm leaning bounty hunting due to how much it looks like Slave 2 and how much and how about and think about how Mirage ships are TIE fighters. Yeah, I mean for sure. I mean, look, there's obvious Star Wars tie-ins for days with CIG, so I think this very much could be like a Slave 1 sort of ship, like 100%. And if it is, I'll be honest with you, I think this thing's going to sell like hotcakes. 1, it's Drake, and 2, it's a bounty hunting ship. I think people are going to get excited about that. However, I will say if it is a bounty hunting ship, there's the Zeus MR as well. I would think if this is another bounty hunting ship concept, then I would have to think that bounty hunting is coming soon, at some point, right? At some point. Everyone, STARJUMP, Ender is in chats. Everyone, give him a giant salute. Ender, we'll switch back over, buddy. We just crossed $35,093. Everyone, STARJUMP Ender should be thanked for that big giant number. That is over the last few years, and Ender has solely been responsible for pushing the St. Jude initiative over the last few years. So everyone, give him a big old giant 07. He'll try not to take it, but just ignore him. And now we are at $18,650, closing in on our march to $20,000 raised. So really incredible. Really incredible. What else can I say? But yeah, so, I mean, with this ship, oh, by the way, YouTube, my YouTube community, my awesome YouTube community, heads up. the Tiltify link is pinned to the top of chat. That's how you get to it. It's pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. So got 77 watching on YouTube, 50 watching on Twitch. I really appreciate you all being here and hanging out. I don't know. Like, what do you all think of concept ships in general? I think concept ships still get a bad rap whenever there's a new concept pledge that goes out, right? VG says, what's left in the blue silhouettes? I really need to get the question bot thing that everybody uses. What's left in the blue silhouettes? Well, we got quite a few things. We've got, let's look. We've got this here. Some sort of anvil vehicle. This could come out on Anvil Day, but I highly doubt it. It's probably a later this year vehicle, but I'm really curious on what it is because we already have so much on this platform already. We have, what's next? We have this, which we all think is the Consolidated Outland medium ship, which was soft confirmed by John Crew. So that's another one. That's another one that's not out yet. We have this one, of course, the Apollo. Apollos, I've heard rumors about for end of year, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that one's kind of a big question mark for me. This could be the build. I mean, the build is in development for sure, but this also could have meant to represent the TAC. As a matter of fact, I think it was meant to represent the TAC ultimately. We have the Perseus, of course, probably coming into this year if I had to guess. We've heard about its dual, its bottom and top guns being upgraded to dual size 8 Medusa cannons. They're bespoke, by the way, so true size 8s. We also have, of course, the Ironclad in active production, been in active production for a while. And then, of course, the Consolidated Outland Pioneer. But I think everyone should look at the Pioneer as sort of in a pre-production phase. So, yeah, there you go. Let me catch up on chat here. Answered the what's left in the blue silhouettes thing. So, yeah, yeah, I think it was Piggles that developed it. Feathers, I have been talking to Piggles. Actually, Piggles is getting a ship in Fleet Viewer for some things he has done for me, so I'm going to try to repay that for him. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens to Drake Day. I personally hope if Drake Defense Con has been diminished, meaning it's just the single day now. Actually, chat, can anyone confirm with me, was Drake Day always a single day or was it 2 days in the past? Let me know. But if it is a single day and there's nothing new for it, then that really just goes to show that CIG is heads down on the work, on getting the game playable, developing the new content-driven stuff, monthly content-driven stuff. Truther just donated $15. Truther, thank you very much, donating towards the Misc Fortune with Sunspot Livery. Thank you very much for those donations. Kairu and Truther coming in with donations, everybody. Giant salute to them. Excuse says 2 days. Did someone say 1 day? Catastrophe says single and a final. It's always a single day recently, Duran says. We'll have to look at that. Can anyone pull up the calendars for past years? So regardless, though, if Drake Day goes by with nothing, it really means that CIG's focused and just could not give Drake Defense Con the time and effort this year, which would be surprising only because I think Drake is generally a big seller for CIG. So, you know. Lazy Donut says, according to SC Tools, it's been 2 days in the past. Okay. Archeroff says, first of all, thank you and Ender for the work you've been doing to help sick kids. Now the question, thank you very much, by the way. What would you recommend to build around an Idris for an industrial player that may end up being a Kraken? Well, that's a good question. And we can use this mighty tool here called STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. We'll go right into it. So you are doing an Idris, and we're going to pop 2 things down. We're going to do the Hangar and the regular ship. Obviously, we're talking about the Idris. Doesn't matter which variant. Again, we will update the variants in Fleet Viewer very soon. But the way you got to look at this is you got to do a few things here. You got to, let's pop, how many more? 2 more things down there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these and we're going to do a profile, which gives us our height. Take another one and we'll do a top down, which gives us our width. Okay, so what you're going to do is you will just think about ships, right? You're talking about an industrial fleet. I think you're going to look at things like misfortunes. So let's pop one of those down. Maybe a prospector, maybe the golem, right? You're going to look at ships like that, okay? And with each one of these ships in Fleet Viewer, you are going to be able to, as a matter of fact, let me hide ship labels here. You're going to be able to take these, put them in whatever view you want, and quickly and easily figure out if they'll fit. So let's see here. So just by bringing them down here, you can easily see which ships will fit in the hangar area of the Idris. Again, you can go to top-down views as well to see if it'll fit. So if you go to like this, you know it fits in there from a height perspective. Oops, I missed that. But you can take them, flip their viewpoint, and see if they'll fit from a width perspective, which they all will. So again, you can fit a lot of industrial ships, but you got to remember too that you're dealing with a hangar that is one long tube, so there's going to be some pluses and minuses of getting them out easily. So just remember that. Green shield, but use the tool for this. It's pretty good for seeing if something fits properly. I mean, look, the Idris would be a fine ship for industrial purposes, but at the same time, I really think you should err on the side of the Kraken. And it's not because it's my favorite ship, it's just more suited for industrial fleet operations. The big one that is that the amount of extra fuel and the repair capabilities that the Kraken has. All those extra fuel reserves are going to be able to keep your smaller fleet flying longer. So again, I would err towards the Kraken. Green Shield says, STARJUMP, what is your opinion on the carriers not coming in yet? Liberator, Kraken, etc. We still don't have a small purpose-built carrier, and I don't really see a reason we could have the Liberator. So the funny thing is I don't think the Liberator is too far off. Probably, I could even see the Liberator possibly going into production next year for a couple reasons. Here's my reasoning for that. This year, we are seeing the Anvil Asgard. I think possibly later this year, we'll get the Anvil Paladin, right? I think you all would agree. Possibly into this year, we could see the Paladin. You're starting to see they're doing a few more Anvil ships, right? What they're doing when they do that is they're building up the Anvil library even more, right? Because the Valkyrie and the Valkyries from 2018, it went flight ready. End of 2018, beginning of 2019, went flight ready. The what you call it, the Corsair obviously has come out since, the Cutter, so a few smaller ships, the Corsair being a pretty big one. But what we're gonna, or sorry, I'm talking about Drake. I meant the I meant the Carrack. The Carrack came out in 2020, right? So that's a bigger ship at 125 meters. You're starting to see more and more come online in terms of Anvil resources, and that's going to turn into a kit that they're going to be able to build out the Liberator for. The Liberator is also perfect for getting vehicles down to the ground for FPS gameplay at all these sites they're creating for us. So honestly, the Liberator, there's a lot of reasons for it to come in the game because it follows what CIG is currently trying to do. Greeno Boof, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate you. So to me, the Liberator fits very well into their current gameplay that they're introducing. So I don't think it's in production right now, by the way. But I think it's possible it could go into production. I really do. I really do. VG says, Liberator is mostly a hollow box with open rooftop and no new gameplay. I cannot fathom any reason it is not done already. It's not done already because it just hasn't been put into production. You know, remember, the work that you've seen on the Liberator is a concept model by a concept artist. It's not game ready in any way. It probably can't even be loaded in by Star Engine at all. It's probably a very heavy concept mesh. in the past when we've seen CIG put in like white box models of ships, we've seen that, by the way, with the Galaxy and the Zeus and stuff like that. Those were white box uh, passes, not concept meshes. And with the Liberator, I think we only have the concept mesh, so it just hasn't been put into develop at all. It's literally was probably done by a freelance concept artist. Um, so they would need to build out a white box model for it, and then start the process. White box, gray box, lot zero, final art, downstream teams, and then release. So it's still got a pretty long run. So let's see here. Lazy Donut says more pliable ships is great. We need less concept ships. Well, I mean, you're really kind of getting your wish, Lazy. I mean, I think in general we have seen a slowdown of concept ships. That's pretty clear. I don't think we've gotten a concept ship this year yet. Correct me if I am wrong on that, chat, but I don't think we've got a concept ship all year, and it's almost the end of May. So not only that, but CIG is ticking off ships actively on the backlog, right? Idris P, KK, all that. The Perseus is in production, right? That's a ship that's been known for a while. Pioneer is another one they're working on. So they're working on some backlog, especially some big backlog. And so they're pushing hard on the backlog, and they're doing the yeah, it's right there. So they're pushing hard on the backlog, and then they're also slowing down the concept ships. So there you go. Here's the thing, though. I don't think no concepts is a good thing. I really don't. And here's why. Flight ready ships, actually, to me, I don't know if you chat, you may disagree with this, and that's totally fine. But flight ready ships, to me, have a high probability sometimes of coming out not fully realized. And the reason is they usually go into development, they stay super secret, none of it's shared with the community. There's no time for CIG to read comments or rethink things. It goes directly into production. It comes out, hopefully attaching itself to some existing gameplay, and it is what it is, right? Without the benefit of time looking in on it, right? Where a ship like the Kraken, let's just use it for an example, been in. Now I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it should be in concept for 6 years, but 2 years is not too terrible. And here's why: if you have a big ship like the Kraken in concept, and it's been sitting there, it gives CIG time to ruminate a little bit on it. Think about maybe what about the concept is appropriate, what's not appropriate. I mean, we've already seen ships like the Reclaimer go into the game, but the gameplay's now changed, so the Reclaimer doesn't really perform and operate as it should, right? So I don't think it should be really long concept phases, a year, 2 years max. But I do sometimes think a concept phase could be good because it gives CIG a little bit of time to rethink stuff. We've already heard John Crew recently say the Kraken is going to get a reconcept pass before it goes into pre-production later this year. That reconcept pass, while the exterior won't change much, I guarantee you they will change certain things. So for example, when the Kraken was first concepted, CIG didn't really have a good idea for cargo elevators in ships like they do with the Polaris. They did have it for the Idris, but one of the things that it's not on is the Kraken. But I think the Polaris has informed us a little bit more as well, that they really probably need to have cargo elevators embedded into the deck of the Kraken, that you could put the gear, your cargo on from ships, and it literally comes down from the deck and then goes to the cargo bay. That would require a bit of reconcepting. So I don't think the exterior is going to change crazy amounts. There probably will be some interior changes that are pretty substantial. So think of it like that. Think of it, and I think Info Runners says this a lot too, but it's just a way, the longer a ship is in concept, the better it's going to be, right? But I do say that with the big caveat that I don't think it should be in like concept for years and years and years and years. Quinn says 2018 Graham the Kraken. Yeah, October 2018 is when the Kraken was revealed. It was revealed in the 2948 behind the ships or around the verse, which was live from CitizenCon that year. And I think they said that it had begun production in January of that year. So technically, I think it sort of started being built out January of 2018, give or take. So, let's see here. What else do we have? Upshot of backlog ships delayed. They benefit from the newest tech and features. They just likely receive major updates along the way. So yeah, well, the Idris is kind of a great example of a ship that I feel like they sort of fixed up to a certain degree, but it's still. She like it? Cool. Uh, my daughter, everybody. You come say hi. It's okay. But the Idris is a ship that for sure probably there say hello.
Hi.
But the Idris is a ship that again being a squadron ship, it it's got some carryovers from the single player game that still to me when I was checking it out are odd that haven't been fully updated for the PU. I think one of the big ones, I brought this up on my last stream, one of the big ones is the fact that the pilot can control uh, the main weapon systems on the chin. So the torpedoes are the biggest offender, but the mass driver and the Exodus beam are also problematic in my opinion. To balance the ship properly against the Polaris, they really do need to take the primary systems away from the pilot. One trade off there that I would prefer them do, if anyone from CIG is watching or lurking, please pass this along. But I would actually prefer that the pilots can fire the main guns, but if it's torpedoes, they can only fire one torpedo and then it's a long cooldown, like 30, 40 seconds. Or if it's the laser beam or the mass driver, they can fire it, but there's longer cooldown between shots. Maybe it's 2-3 minutes, who knows. But I think if you have a weapons officer on board, so torpedo operator or weapons operator, they should be able to fire the beams with minimal cooldown, fire the mass driver with minimal cooldown, or with the torpedoes, they should be able to like fire 4 at a time simultaneously. So I think that would give solo pilots at least something, and it would give the people that do bring a weapons officer on board the ship, it gives them a little something too. So Altzilla question, what do you think it means when they say that the Squadron 42 Idris has grown into its own thing? Well, I think there's a couple things there. The first one is that it has a completely new exterior in the Squadron 42 Idris. This is something we've talked about a lot on this show. I'll push it over here, but this is the new exterior for the Squadron Idris. You'll notice quite a few differences here. The engines are completely different shapes, a completely new engine setup on it. All the exterior lines here, if you've inspected the current Idris, all the exterior lines and greeble work is completely different. Completely different. You can even see from this back end shot here, see how the back slopes down and out? Down and out? Well, on the current Idris, it slopes inward, and it's much more abrupt. The way the turrets are on here are completely different. They're more integrated into the actual ship hull. You can see they sort of barely stick out. So there's actually been some significant changes, and that's just exterior. Interior possibly got changes as well. Personally, though, I think it's primarily exterior changes is what they're talking about. But ultimately, I do think we'll get that in Squadron 42. It just hasn't come yet. Or sorry, we'll get that in the PU. That's probably not going to come till Squadron. We did see too that they did the same thing to the Javelin here. All these exterior lines on the exterior of the Javelin are different. The Griebling's different. These wings are different. It's got the big chevron engines as well, so the engines have been replaced. PDCs are all over the top of the ship. You can see here, 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 tons of PDCs. There's been some additional changes. Yeah, even the front engines are different now. It's got these covers over its torpedo launchers. Before they were just open. So again, a lot of differences. That's what they mean. We'll have to see ultimately what CIG is means by all this. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it comes to us in the PU, but I personally hope it does, because while the Idris does look great, some of its textures make it look great, or some of its paints, it still looks a little old. If you've seen the Idris with its gears down, when you see inside the gear wells, look at how old that looks compared to something like the Polaris. So the Idris deserves that glow up. I think the new exteriors of the Idris probably do all that, and we'll get those closer to Squadron, is what I think. Let's see here. Javelin, so looking forward to my fire. Yeah, I agree. The Javelin is a really cool ship. Going to be cool to see that in game and see how it alters the balance. So you know how we have Polaris and Idris in the game now, and they can duke it out. I think it's going to be really interesting when CIG does bring the Javelin in the game, player-owned Javelins, and we have that bit of asymmetry in the big ship combat. Right now we have, I wouldn't call it exactly equal, but we do have, it's a closer symmetry between the Polaris and the Idris. Again, I'm not saying they're equal, but there is a little bit they're a little closer. Whereas when the Javelin comes on board, that's going to really throw that balance off, and it's going to be interesting to see like how that works in game, what sort of effect we see of that. It's going to give CIG further guidance on how strong to make capitals that are the size of the Idris and the Polaris and the Kraken. It's going to give them a good test bed to see how strong they should be. Also, see how strong the Javelin should be. Remember, the Javelin for the PU version has 8 size 9 guns on it. 8 size 9 guns. And that's not talking about all of its broadside turrets. Then it's able to carry a bunch of size 12 torpedoes. I forget how many, but a whole bunch of them. So it is dangerous. It's very dangerous. Guy in Eames Loudshare says, and even the MFDs on the Idris suck. Needs more per station. They need to be clean and new and all scratched up. So, again, I don't think we're going to see much of a change on the interior of the Idris, but I do think we'll see some changes on some significant changes on the exterior. Hopefully those come sooner rather than later. I personally think that it would have been better. Well, no, I'm about to say something I disagree with. I was about to say I think it would have been better if CIG would have waited to release the Idris until that new exterior was ready to release with it. I would have felt a little bit more bigger and finished and done. But I think I actually disagree with that. I said this before on stream, and I'm going to stick with it, that when these ships are done and flyable, they need to get them in people's hands so that we can be testing them. I err on that. I err on that. I do think though that we will get the new exteriors though, because going to look at this image here, this is an MFD image from the Javelin interior, that would show up on like an engineering terminal or something. Oh, Tibbles just came out swinging with a $135 donation towards the Misk Fortune, and I think something else, but I missed the alert, but it went in. Thank you very much, Tibbles. Giving you the double salute for that. Giving you the double salute for that. Thank you so much, Tibbles. That's a massive donation. Holy moly. Everyone, we are at 18,800 raised. I think Tibbles had a little OCD and wanted to get it to a nice, big, round number. Am I right, Tibbles? Did you want to get it to a big round number? Thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate it. I should probably do a bean for that. That's probably worthy of a bean. So I think we need to do that. So here, by the way, you can see on this MFD image from the interior of the Javelin, they are using the new Javelin model here. You can notice the engines here are not those original engines. You can see these little winglets here. These winglets are on the old model are straight on the back sides. These have these little cut ends. I don't know if you can see my mouse. They have those little cut ends. And then the engines on the back here are slightly different. So again, they are making this change across the board. It just remains to be seen how that propagates to the PU ultimately. So anyway, Quinn says size 20 torps for the Javelin. I thought it was size 12, or are you just joking? Probably just joking. Tibbles, thank you very much. I think that's worthy of a beam. We're going to spin here. All right, it landed there, which is licorice or burnt rubber. Licorice or burnt rubber. So there we go. Let me find one. Tomorrow, everybody, my daughter is going to stream with me. We're going to play some games and have some fun, right? Tomorrow we are? Okay. I landed on, my daughter's here with me, everybody. I landed on licorice or burnt rubber. All right. You want to sit here while I do it? You can sit here. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. All right. It's licorice or burnt rubber, everybody. Here we go. I'm trying it. I hope this is good because the burnt rubber is real gnarly. All right, here we go. Oh, God. It's burnt rubber. It's disgusting.
It smells weird.
It smells terrible. Yeah. Someone says, Hiya Mini Grim. What did we say your name was? Your online name was? Lil Grim? It's Lil Grim, everybody. Anyways, me and Lil Grim, we're going to stream tomorrow night, and we are going to do some gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
What games are we going to play?
Roblox and Minecraft.
Roblox and Minecraft, and we're going to do some Bean Boozle, right? Okay, that's what we're going to do tomorrow night. All right, kiddo. I ate a burnt rubber bean, and it was disgusting. Thank you very much, Tibbles, for that $135 donation. Everyone, we are marching forward towards our big goal of 20,000 for May and April. All right. I still have this in my mouth. It is disgusting. But we're going to get to it. No, it can't be. It can't be good for me. I can't even get it down. It's that gross. Quinn says, yeah, joking on the size 20s, but size difference between the 10s and 12s is really small now. For them to get to the size they are on the Javelin, they would extrapolate to nearly size 20. Oh, you're talking about the size of the tubes. Well, yeah, we'll have to see what that is. Again, it could just be the model size of the torpedoes, not necessarily their yield. However, I think we're going to see an adjustment for that on the PU. I could see the torpedoes and the Javelin going to size like 14, maybe size 16, something like that. This is horrible. Oh, God. I'll be sick by the end of this. Oh, that's horrible. Horrible. Thank you, Tibbles, getting us to 18,800. Appreciate that. Everybody, we are only 200 away from 19,000. $1,200 away from the final ultimate goal of $20,000. Give all of yourselves a big 07 for that one. Okay. Stomach is settling. I'm feeling not quite as sick as I was a minute ago. So let's talk about 4.2 for a minute. There has been some leakage to come out of 4.2. Most of that is in the form of missions. It's primarily missions, although there have been actually, let me see if I can find something here for you all. Let me see if I can find something. Sometimes this stuff is hard to find. Let me see if I have it. It doesn't look like I do. So a lot of new mission stuff. That goes without saying. I think the current Evocati build that is under NDA, don't worry, I'm not an Evocati, has been, there's been some, a whole bunch of stuff around this ASD data center stuff. Obviously, it's part of a new mission thing. There's the regen crisis, all of that. There's some new Volt weapons coming. Of course, there is the mech suit that is the combat mech suit. We've talked about this before. Execute, who may still be in chat, Execute found on the shoulder, or someone maybe in this community, I can't remember, found on the shoulder of the Atlas suit, there is some Banu writing, possibly suggesting maybe Wicklow customized himself an Argo Atlas, or maybe it's a joint venture by the Banu, by a specific Banu Suli and Argo, which I think would be kind of weird. Hopeful. What I hope it is I hope it's just Wicklow has like tinkered and done some work on some of these mech suits to make some of them combat related. Although we get into that whole thing, should CIG sell it? Should CIG sell the combat mech? And I could bring that up real quick for everybody. Bear with me, everybody. Do I even have an image of it? I probably haven't even saved an image of it because I haven't been too concerned about it yet. But I will bring it up. Where'd it go? So yeah, and you probably saw the combat mechs in the Starlancer TAC trailer. Let me go over here. There is here, I think this was a image that Execute sent me. You can see the Banu writing here right on the side, and then that is sort of the name of the mech variant in the files as well. So to me, what I hope is it's something that that Wicklow and the Banu have customized from an Argo Atlas. So it's sort of their own like ad hoc creation, and then the actual mech suits, the actual Titan suits, are something that we'll get from who's the company that makes them? Virgil, I think Virgil. So the real question is, should they sell it? That's sort of the big question. And what's everyone's opinion on that? Should CIG sell? Should CIG sell the combat mech if it is indeed coming? Like if it's indeed coming to the game, should they sell it? That's the question here. They shouldn't, but they will. Let me ask everyone this, because I am curious about this, genuinely curious. If in Star Citizen's alpha state, which is what it currently is, where is the line when it comes to funding? Because currently I don't look at anything. I don't think it's possible for the game to be pay to win right now, because there is no game to pay to win for. We're still playing a tech demo, an alpha, whatever you want to call it, but I would not call it a game. A game is something that I want to invest time in, and I invest time in it because I don't lose anything. Everything is persistent from then on out. See, this game will be, or this, actually I just call it a game. This will be that one day with 1.0, but it's not yet, right? So where do you think $20 blades is the line? Socially Confused says. Stunlock Donut says CIG will never stop selling ship scrim. Yeah, no, they never will. They never will. And here's the thing. I don't think they should stop selling ships if that is the primary way to fund the game. However, what I really wish would happen is I do wish they would still sell ships, but I wish they would be more of a rare thing, so maybe 2 ships a year. And I primarily wish the game was funded via subscription model. I actually would prefer that. I'm a longtime WoW player. I've had a WoW subscription for 20 years at this point. I do think a subscription brings a level of curation to your audience. And I hate doing that because I'm not trying to suggest you need money to play, but I played a lot of free-to-play games, and the communities and the players treat it like a free-to-play game. And as such, there's shenanigans abound. And I can only imagine a world in Star Citizen when the game is already kind of a headache to play. I can only see that going bad. Spectre EH says CIG said no subscriptions way back in the day. Yeah, they also said the F8C would come with Squadron. They also said the Idris would come with Squadron. I mean, it's CIG. Who knows what they would say? Again, I would prefer a subscription, not a big one, but $10 a month, I would pay that. I would pay that. Once we get to 1.0, let me be clear, everybody. Once we get to 1.0, I don't think there should be a subscription now. Poutine says, I am against subscription. I pledged because they said there would never be subs to buy. Now, here's the thing. I think you could do something kind of interesting too with the pledge amounts. So if you've pledged whatever it is, let's say you've pledged for, $500 worth of ships over time, then that would allow you to play without a subscription for a few years or whatever the case may be. Essentially, essentially credit you for what you've put into the game already, something like that. But I don't know. I'm a little unsure how I feel about free to play games because I've just played a lot of free to play games and it's garbage, especially MMOs. If anyone in here has played a free to play MMO that was able to last for more than 5 years, where the community was good, I would love to know about it. I don't doubt you. I just don't know about it because I tried a lot of them and they were garbage. Garbage. Free to play games, MMOs, free to play games, MMOs were not funded like Star Citizen. That's true. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Yeah. The real question again is we're asking is where's that line, right? And CIG is going to have to find that themselves, and I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard. Quinn says SC isn't going to be free to play. You still have to buy the game. That's true. Yeah, you got to put some money into it. What I think CIG is going to do, what I heard a long time ago, and here's the thing, for those of you that are very against subscriptions, it's not that I don't agree with you. Maybe I do. I don't totally know where I fall on this, but what I will say is this: I have heard. Take this with a giant grain of salt, by the way, because this could be false. But I have heard through someone who's given me really good information in the past that 100% was true. I have heard that at some point, CIG is going to massively redo their subscription service currently. There's the two different subscription levels you can have. That CIG is supposedly going to redo that in a major way, and there's going to be different tiers that come with different advantages, not pay to win advantages, but more just like quality of life advantages. And that this is just what I've heard, and this was about a year ago, and that with that, that's how they were going to kind of go. They weren't going to be mandatory. You could still opt into them or not do them at all, but the new subscription tiers would have in-game stuff attributed to them that would be more quality of life driven, and I think that could attract some people. Now, after this whole Blades fiasco, we'll see. Maybe they're rethinking that. Again, this information was a year old, but back when I got this information, the person that gave it to me gave me information at the same time as that subscription information, and that information ended up being 100% right, and it was stuff that CIG didn't even announce for like another year. They announced it kind of recently. So take that as what you will. They also said they redo concierge. Yeah, they said they redo concierge. That's another good point. Couple other things I wanted to go over in 4.2. So there's the new mechs. There is, let me bring this up. There is code for the Valakar, the Apex Valakar. Again, don't know if these are coming in 4.2, but there's a lot of code related to the adult and the Apex Valakars. The Apex being those big giant ones. Okay. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited about that. I think they tie into whatever this new event is here at the ASD facilities. Okay. I talked about the Volt weapon that's coming. The big one that I'm excited about. Oh, actually, let me do this real quick. There is a new heavy environment suit coming called the Sterling suit. Looks like this. Kind of interesting. A little puffy, but looks kind of interesting. I wish they would like break this up here though, a little too smooth in my opinion. But there's that. But the big one is rain. They're bringing some weather, dynamic rain and dynamic lightning. Apparently it's going to be the beginnings of the dynamic weather system that we saw from CIG, which was called Genesis. For those of you that remember that, here's some video of that rain. It may be a little hard to see on here, but you'll see it in a minute. But yes, rain is coming. By the way, whoever makes these videos that leak out, oh my God, please, some of the videos horrific. But you can kind of see here, obviously, heavily limits your ability to see. I think later on, let's go here. So you might get a little bit of lightning here. There you go, a little bit of lightning. I think later on you can see the rain a little bit better. Yeah, you can still see the rain coming in a little bit there. I know it's hard to see with the Twitch compression. But there you go. I saw some more video of a player character walking around and the ground was all wet and that kind of stuff. Again, we saw a lot of this on the CitizenCon presentation last year. So I'm super excited about weather. I don't know how any of you all feel, but I think weather will bring a lot to these worlds, make them feel a lot more lived in and dangerous. I do hope the lightning can injure you. I hope that the rain can cause problems as well. I think that would be pretty interesting. And then apparently some elements of engineering might be coming online. Is it 4.2 that they said that? Chat, let me know. Did I forget? Did Torsten say 4.2 some engineering stuff like fires and stuff were coming? Because that would make sense with weather, right? I could see a ship flying through heavy storms, possibly having technical issues, maybe a fire starts inside, whatever. I could see some of that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Kickstarter Radio says subscription would have a plus to crafting speed, plus to rep game, plus to UEC, you mean UEC gain, and plus to delivery time for ships. So Kickstarter, that's very similar to what I heard. That's very similar to what I heard. So I think you might be onto it there. Here's some more of that weather stuff they showed at CitizenCon, by the way. They did show that this was actual in game here and not being faked. Obviously still in development, but they did say that this was actually in game and functioning in game. So for those of you who remember this looks stunning. Imagine them taking missions that we currently have and applying weather systems to those. So for example, facilities that you have to raid that will occasionally get really bad storms over them or something like that, right? Or remember the Hathor laser? Maybe that laser bursting through the atmosphere helps create a storm or something like that, right? Maybe it disrupts the electromagnetic shit going on. I don't know. But yeah, they look and sound amazing. I mean, I hope that we get them sooner rather than later. We can watch this for a second. Again, I love how it affects the glass of your visor.
I'm getting out of this suit now. Powering up, flying out.
VG says, question, optional subscription buffs? That doesn't sound like pay to win for 1.0. I don't know if you can get away from pay to win for Star Citizen. I really do think that cat is out of the bag at this point, because the only way it's pay to win is it depends on what your definition of winning is. And I can tell you from talking with people about spaceships so much that a lot of people, even though I think this is completely wrong, a lot of people feel like bigger ships are winning. So they feel like if you have a Hornet and another person has a Connie, then they've won the game. They have the bigger ship. Now, I don't think that at all. They're just scales of gameplay loops. But some people think that. And in that way, pay to win's already in the game, right? The CIG's already said for certain military ships and stuff like that, like the F-7A, Mark II, they showed us at CitizenCon that you're going to have to go through a big rep grind to get the blueprints to build that. But you can also buy it right now. So I guess I still am a little shaky on like the blades being the worst pay to win offender. I mean, you can buy ships right now, right? And ships, some degree, have power differences and eliminate the need to do the later rep grind. So I don't know. Is that pay to win? Maybe. Maybe. Controversial, at the very least.
The switch to IFR. See you on the other side.
God, look how good that looks. It even makes the Aurora look good, everybody. But it really does make the world feel a lot more alive. A lot more alive. You notice thing too, like the barrel here rolling around on the ground from the wind. You can see the cloth covering up the buckets. All this stuff's blowing. Did you see that? Watch this. Oops. Watch the stuff over here as it approaches. See everything blow and move? That was really cool. You can hear the sound effects going along with it. And what's really cool is when you come in, the rain stops. Now, one thing to notice, small detail, but I want you to pay attention to the ramp on the Zeus here. If you look really carefully, you can see the rain spots hitting the ramp. So the actual rain droplets, you can see them hitting the ramp. Really nice little touch. Sound changes are really nice. I love when the ramp closes, the sound changes again. Blunder Swish says larger ships have the larger profit chance, so base building station wise, the ships are pay to win early in the game. Well, I don't disagree with you, Blunder. I think Blunder's exactly right. I mean, there's some ships that are going to give people an advantage early on because they already own them and don't have to grind up the blueprints. So, you know, I mean, it just really depends on your definition of pay to win, I guess. To me, I agree that the blades were not something that should have happened. Yeah, they were a little bit pay to win, but I'm not freaking out like a bunch of other content creators saying it's CIG's gone too far. This is the end of the game. Trust me, I've seen all the content creators with their stupid ass thumbnails saying this is the end of the game. I think it's ridiculous. I think those content creators that have posted that stuff to me have apparently not been playing Star Citizen for the last however up to many years this game has been out, because it doesn't take you more than 5 minutes of thinking about it to realize that there's a lot of edge cases that have already happened that could be way more pay to win than the blades were. Again, that's not defending the blades. You don't have to say that there's a problem over here and be defending one at the same time. The blades shouldn't have happened. They should be earnable in game. I completely agree. But to say that those are the only offense that CIG's done on the pay to win market's absolutely pure insanity. And believe me, I've seen the content creators. There's a bunch of big ones. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, who've all got the thumbnails. This has gone too far. CIG going down the toilet. I can see the shit stain on the toilet bowl as they circle it. It's fucking stupid. I mean, you'll never see STARJUMP, or especially me, do thumbnails like that. And the reason is I know it helps the YouTube algorithm. I get it. Clickbaity, all that. But this shit ain't my job. I don't make any money off of this. I do it just to hang out with you all. You're never going to see me do those thumbnails. I think they're stupid as shit. I think they're cringy. They literally like make my skin crawl. Those type of thumbnails. Because, and I'm not talking about just the CIG crossing a line thing. I'm talking about just thumbnails in general. You're not going to see me do any of that crap. I have a job and it's not this, so I don't have to worry about if I have 5 viewers or 500 viewers. The but to sit there and say that like the blades were just the nail in the coffin makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me because what's going to happen? For instance, why is no one saying that? Oh, well, the only way you can build a space station is to build the supply hub or the supply bay. And the only way you can build the supply bay is through the Pioneer. And the Pioneer is a $900 ship on the store. Is no one talking about that? Because when 1.0 goes live, or even before 1.0 and base building's in, people that own the Pioneer are going to be able to build a space station faster than your org. You know what I mean? They're going to build a space station faster than Diggable says. I love based Grim. Grim crashes out on SC creators. I like that. Yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, they do them. I'm going to do me. You know, it is what it is. But regardless, those space stations, which CIG has already said are going to be our strongholds in the verse, they're going to be able to build them faster than the people that have to grind for the blueprints for the Pioneer to then make the goddamn supply bay and then ultimately make the space station. You know what I mean? So if I was someone who didn't have a Pioneer, I would maybe look at that as a little bit pay to win, right? Again, I'm not defending blades. I promise you. I actually agree with the creators out there, the content creators, that blades were a bad idea from CIG. CIG knows that. I mean, they're well aware of this. But some of the people out there on Spectrum and some streamers and content creators and some of the bigger voices in this community, they have acted like it's like the end of Cloud Imperium. And I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. CIG has seen it was a stupid thing to do. They're going to correct it for the future. It is what it is. Catastrophe just talked about the Galaxy down there. When John Crew came out, or when they mentioned that the base building modules would not be coming with the Galaxy, when the community lost their shit over that, rightfully so, and I back the community on that. CIG had showed that the Galaxy would, and they really can't go back on that. But I know Execute brought that up to John Crew, and John Crew, he made a post when he saw the community losing his shit. He made a post and he said, we are going to do it. They reversed course. It was like a day later he reversed course. Again, if you've watched my streams long enough, you'll know that I don't always stick up for CIG. I think they make all kinds of dumb mistakes all the time. But do I think that the $20 blade that gives you 10 meters a second faster forward speed is upsetting the balance? No. Is it a sign that CIG needs to rethink that in the future so that that doesn't get worse? Yes, 100%. 100%. Let's keep watching this. It's kind of cool. I just love what it does to the atmospherics. It gives the entire sky box a sense of volume, even beyond just the cloud systems that we currently have. Goodbye, Aurora. That's cool. So, again, what we're talking here, again, I think weather's going to be awesome. I personally hope that when storms come, that there's some sort of logic that is seen where players are at and is trying to create lightning strikes, not purposely on the player, but at least in the vicinity of your view angle to where you can enjoy them a little bit. Otherwise, I do think catching a lightning strike is going to be super rare, but maybe it'll happen. We'll have to see. Hopefully there's some logic though that makes for some interesting lightning gameplay. That could be kind of cool. And I'm assuming that ships will attract lightning to some degree, right? Yeah, I mean Kickstarter Radio, I think you kind of nailed it. MMOs live and die by their communities. Absolutely agree with that. So best learn on their way to 1.0. This is what I'm saying. CIG does make mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. But as long as you're learning those mistakes and learning what to do and what not to do before we get to 1.0, that's what's important. That's what's important here. Again, it's just one of those things that, like, the blades were a mistake. CIG's already addressed it, and they've said for the future they're not going to do that, or where they're going to sell them, but you'll be able to buy them in game from day one as well. So I don't think it's an issue. And again, the blades, and correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the way I understood it, the blades will give you a small bonus to either your agility, your maneuverability, or your forward speed. But if they do give you the bonus to the forward speed, then they do punish you a bit on your maneuverability and vice versa. So that doesn't even ultimately say, to me, that doesn't even seem like pay to win anyway. It seems like just a trade-off at that point. But chat, you let me know if I'm wrong on that. I've had people test it and say that it literally had little to no effect on their ships. I've seen other people test the blades and say they made a significant difference. So I really don't know. I didn't buy any blades. I didn't look, so I wouldn't know. Now, sure, I can see the people that are on the bleeding edge of the combat PvP combat gameplay, or even the PvE combat gameplay. I could see maybe those little attributes being a big difference, and totally respect that. And maybe it is. I've seen both from the community so far. I've seen people that say it doesn't matter. Some people say it matters hugely. The blades only help edge cases for arena commander dudes. Yeah, possibly. Again, I'm not real sure. And here's the thing. We'll say Stunlock Donut says bombs worry more than blades and how you can convert a ship for different. So that's actually a more interesting conversation. I'm actually going to bring that up real quick here. I appreciate you bringing up the bomb racks because I think there's a more interesting discussion there. Let me switch back over. Let's go to shop. Let's go to the pledge store. And then let's go to add-ons. Let's see here. Let's go down. Talking about these bomb racks here that are able to convert existing ships into bomb variants of those existing ships. So for example, I'm assuming you could take maybe an Avenger or something and put bombs on it now, the size 3 bombs. That's an interesting change. Is it pay to win that you all don't like about that? Like, is that the issue there, or do you just don't like the idea that one can change the role of their ship? I'd be interested to hear what you all have to think about that. As a matter of fact, should we start a poll for that? We can start a poll here. Let's do a poll here. The poll is, what do you think of bomb racks? Okay. And let's see here. We will do, the first one is pay to win, right? The next one will be changing ship roles, or changing the, I can't type. Changing the role of a ship. Nope, can't write that. Okay. Let's see, let's change it here. No changing ship roles. Okay. And it's awesome. I'm going to do a terrible poll here, but we're going to let it run because I actually am kind of curious. All right, I started it on Twitch. I'll go on YouTube here and we'll do a poll as well, because again, I'm really interested to know what you all think on this. Pay to win. Let's do no changing ship roles. And then we'll do another one, which is it's awesome. Okay. I'm just really curious to see what people think. I'll throw it in there. So John Chase says A1, A2 already in game, so it's not pay to win. Yeah. Typhon says F-16 fighter jet can carry bombs. Doesn't mean the B-2 is obsolete. That's a great point. I actually brought that up to someone just recently on how multi-role fighters, especially like the F-18, F-16, F-15 and stuff, those armaments can be switched out for all different types of munitions. And I think when we get different types of bombs, that will even get exponentially more complicated, right? So imagine when we get cluster munitions, incendiary munitions, who knows what else they could bring to the table, CIG. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. But this is what I've heard about the bomb stuff, is that a lot of people were actually a little bit more upset by this because they didn't want the role of their ship changing. And I guess I would my thinking on that is, and I didn't get into an argument with Ender, but I did get into a little bit of a back and forth with him one night when we were talking about medical gameplay, and I was saying that I personally feel that we should be able to buy tier 1 tier 2 med beds, right? So the lower ones. Is that the lower ones, right? Which one's the better med bed? I forget. Which one's the more powerful med bed? Is it tier 1 or tier 3? I always forget. Either way, you could buy the lowest tier med bed. Okay, tier 1. Okay. So I think tier 3 med beds should be something that you can buy as a module. Not a module, but as like a bed and a power unit. And then that can fit on a cargo grid of any ship. The only negative to it is you need to have the cargo grid open for it, and you need to have power, enough extra power to sustain the med bed and still be able to put the resources in it for healing, and then thus be able to change any ship into a medical ship. I personally want that flexibility. Ender was pretty against it when we talked about it. So obviously it's something that people have a lot of opinions on. Some people think hell no. Some people think it's the way to go. I'd be interested to see what you all think, though. Where's our Twitch poll at? Let's view results. Polls ended. All right, on Twitch, everyone, we have 55% say bomb racks are awesome. 36%, 4 people saying no changing of the ship roles, and 1 person saying it's pay to win. So there you go. That's really interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go ahead and end the poll here. There we go. It's awesome, 62%. So again, it looks like the majority of people are okay with bomb racks. No changing ship roles, 31%. Pay to win, 6%. It's really kind of the same breakdown on YouTube. That's interesting. Quinn says just make med kits worth more, not a bed. Spicy says I think it diminishes medical ships. See, personally, this isn't my opinion, Spicy, on that. This is my personal opinion, by the way. I really think medical in this game, CIG really needs to address the future of medical gameplay because there are so many question marks around it. But here's what I think. I think dedicated medical ships, so the Endeavor Hope, the Apollo, the Cuddy Red, the C8R, I think all those ships should all have tier 1 beds in. I think if it's a medical ship, it should have a tier 1 bed in it. Okay. I think tier 3 medical beds, though, should be modular, in which you can put the bed in anything with a cargo thing. But I think CIG should go back to the old rule where the only bed that can respawn you is the tier 1 beds, right? And then the tier 3s can just sustain you or maybe top you up to 75% or something, not to 100%. So I have the whole medical thing. We need to do a STARJUMP station at some point about that anyway, because again, there's lots of issues there. I think the changes they've made to the medical system have already diminished medical ships to a very high degree. The fact that the CAR can damn near do now what the Apollo can do, just on a smaller scale, but it can still do it, to me upsets the balance a little bit on what was originally sold. I know CIG claims that that's how it was always planned, but Ender and myself have gone back and looked through all the documentation on Death of a Spaceman and respawning and all that, and that was never the plan, at least to the stuff they publicly put out there. Publicly, it was the tier 1 beds that were going to handle respawn, and the other could, the 2 and 3 could not. And now that's different. I don't love it. So I don't know. Femship Forever, am I saying that right? Says, I think it will be range that balances the med bond. Yeah, I know that whole red range thing is very odd to me. That only benefits people trying to get back into a fight quicker. So it really feels like the medical system and the range thing was sort of just re-geared for combat. And again, it's a little disheartening when you're most interested in industrial and economic gameplay. So I don't know. Again, I don't think the range is the right way to go, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, look, everyone, I'm just an idiot who turned on stream elements here. I mean, or turned on OBS. My opinion isn't any more valid than anyone else's. I really don't know what the best solution is. I just feel like the current solution, I think it does diminish the medical centric ships. I really do. I really do. FA says medical gameplay is in tier 0, so a lot can change. Yeah, I mean 100%. A lot can change. We don't have actor status tier 2. We don't have Death of a Spaceman. We don't have insurance really fully activated in the game. Item recovery, we're at tier 0. So you're correct. There's a lot of parts of that puzzle that we do not have in game yet. So fully agree with that. Tony or Tanya, am I saying that right? Tanya? Is it Tanya? Yep, Tanya. Hello, hope you're well. Real quick, everyone. Thank you for the St. Jude donations. 18,800 we're up to. Please, if you're on YouTube, click on the Tiltify link up pinned to the top of chat. If you're on Twitch, I'm putting the link down there now. The Tiltify link, you can go there. We have some really cool raffles going on right now. Just a reminder, the Misc Fortune with Sunspot. If you do a $15 donation to the Tiltify link, you'll get a or you'll get a raffle ticket for the Fortune with Sunspot. That drawing is on the May 24th, so 2 days from now. If you donate $20 to the Tiltify link and click on F7CM Super Hornet and add that to your cart, when you go there for that $20 donation, you'll get 1 ticket to the Super Hornet giveaway on May 27th. If you donate $100 towards a Tiltify, towards St. Jude and sick children, remember that money does not come to STARJUMP at all. Oh, sorry, Tony. Sorry, Tony. Nice to see you. If you donate $100, that money goes straight to St. Jude. Donate through our Tiltify link, and that gets you a ticket for the RSI Polaris Corvette. Now, here's a cool thing about that May 30th raffle drawing. We're going to give away the Polaris, but then we're going to spin that wheel again. All the same names that have pledged for the Polaris. We're going to spin that wheel of names again. The next runner-up is going to get a brand new, spanking brand new Anvil Asgard being revealed tomorrow. And then we're going to spin the wheel once again, and the winner of that will get a Guardian MX, okay? So if you donate towards the RSI Polaris, we have 3 ships we're going to give away. So you actually have 3 chances to win on your $100 donation. So just keep that in mind. That money does not come to St. Jude, by the way, everybody. Or sorry, oh God, the money does not come to STARJUMP. This is about a problem when you have St. Jude, S&J, and then STARJUMP, S&J. The money does not come to STARJUMP in any way. It goes straight to St. Jude. So when you donate to Tiltify, that's the great thing about Tiltify. They are partnered with St. Jude. So the money goes to Tiltify, it goes directly to St. Jude. So there we go. Hopefully I can learn how to talk next time. FA say, what? Let's see here. Socially Confused says, whoa, the 4.2 patch makes Singe cannons bespoke to the Defender. Interesting. Well, I mean, I do think we're going to get some new munitions. And the part of the reason for that is that I do think we're getting munitions with the Perseus. I think we're going to get some different munition types. That's something they sold us on when it came to the Perseus, that was going to be able to fire different types of munitions through those bespoke guns. So maybe those are Singe, maybe they're distortion, maybe they're cluster munitions, whatever the case may be. But CIG did talk a little bit about that. So maybe we're going to see more weapon differentiation across the board, and maybe that will lead to things like the Perseus and stuff. But interesting that they're bringing the Singe or making the Singe cannon bespoke to the Defender. Again, that's more sort of delineation there, the different weapon types. For those of you that don't know, we got our new beam weapons now in the Idris K. I, on Twitter, had said that what we really need is an Ares variant, Ares Starfighter variant, that it has a giant beam gun on it. And Ben Curtis, the vehicle art director for CIG, replied to that with the Eddie Murphy, you're thinking the right thing emoji and or GIF or whatever. And I don't know about you, but to me, that's a pretty good confirmation that CIG is at least thinking about that. So, Stunlock Donuts, they can't get the Ares right, Graham. That's true, but if they make enough variants, maybe it'll get better. I have the Inferno. I still like it. I do still like the Inferno. There's just something about that ship that I can't melt it. I think I saw an Execute stream just the other day. He was talking about how the Ares is not a great purchase because it's pretty overpriced. He's probably right, but I do enjoy that ship. I do enjoy it. By the way, everyone, if you're watching on Twitch, please hit the follow button. I really appreciate it. Try and hit that follower goal. And if you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe, like, thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, what else is there in the 4.2? So again, 4.2, it's going to come with a lot of mission, story-driven gameplay stuff. Maybe we'll get those Apex Valakars. One of the things that I do know we're getting is animal population control missions, so essentially hunting missions. And there is a note there in the Evo patch notes about more animals coming, more creatures for 4.2. Don't know how many. They didn't list it. But I am hoping that there are some hunting missions, because I know me and several people, especially Ender, would be totally down for that. I don't know. They're just a little different. Something you can casually do with friends. Not a lot of pressure put on it. I think those would be some great missions to have in game. You can get in your ship. You can go to certain planets. Maybe there's different types of creatures there. You can go on the hunts. I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe there's like a rare creature of that line that you could kill. So, for example, if there's a new Copian type creature, then maybe they have like a alpha Copian or a Copian alpha or something that's a little harder to kill. They're a little bit rarer to find. I don't know. I think that'd just be kind of fun. Cody Fox says the beam weapon Ares should be the Ares Electron. I do think that's good. I suggested it should be the Ares Proton. And I was thinking Proton Pack from Ghostbusters. So I was thinking Ares Proton. But I do like Electron. That's good. To me, the Ares Electron would be great if it was like an electricity, like Volt style weapon, right? Fanman says the new creatures is probably talking about Adult and Apex Valakar. Very well could be. Yeah, very well could be. I'm hoping they're bringing in a few extra little creatures. I was really hoping with the Copian and the whatever that other creature is, I forget the name of it. I was really hoping that was the start, and we were going to start seeing a lot more creatures come into the game quicker. But that really hasn't happened. So I do hope we get some more animals. The worms are cool. The Valakars are cool, but they're very tied to an event right now. I'm talking just like creatures out and about. Actually, chat, are the worms just out and about on certain planets? Can you just find them randomly? Or are they only tied to the Hathor event? I'd be curious to know. I know chat can illuminate me. I thought they were just tied to the event, but now I'm starting to second guess that maybe they are just kind of in the open world. Because I think I did fly around and was able to scan and find one. Could be wrong though. Let me know. Let me know. There is some listing. Worms are in caves. Okay. There's a Volt shotgun coming. Just reading through them. Social Confuse says, yeah, you can find them on Daymar. Cool, cool, cool. So apparently there's going to be radiation storms. So there's going to be radiation areas. It'd be interesting to know if our environmental suits really come into play there for radiation. I sure hope so. It says here, Wicklow, this is a code string from the 4.2 build. It says, quote, Wicklow feel like Atlas robot could be better. Not bad, no, but why not improve? You want, can make it look different for small price. So that pretty much confirms it. Wicklow is customizing the ATLS, which is sort of what I thought it was. I thought it was just going to sort of be like a Wicklow Frankenstein thing, and that does seem to be what it is. Yep, that does seem to be what it is. So that is interesting. What else? What else? And then there's power plant distortion. I wonder, power plant shutting down if struck by lightning. Okay, so they are going to have lightning actually striking things and causing damage. That will be cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, again, more stuff coming. More stuff coming. Real quick, everybody, bear with me. Bear with me. I was going to take a quick look at my fleet if you all want to do that with me. Hold on one second. Oops. Hold on one second, everybody. Let me switch over. I am going to go to Hangar Link, go to Fleet Viewer. Let's go add my Hangar Link ships. Here is the Grim Fleet, for those that were ever curious. Yeah, Fan Man, we just talked about that. There is code related to that. I can bring it up right here. Let me zoom in here. Again, says Wicklow feel like ATLS robot could be better. Not bad, no, but why not improve? So again, this is a Wicklow custom job with the mech. Again, I probably won't put a lot of effort into this unless it's for sure permanent if you get one and permanently attributed to your account. Actually, chat, can anyone tell me, for the people that get Wicklow ships, are those ships permanently added to your hangar? Like on the RSI website, are they permanently added to the hangar? Or is it a ship you just have for that moment in game until whenever the wipe comes? No, just in game. Gotcha. Is that accurate? Okay. Okay, XQ says no, they're not permanently added. Okay, so I probably won't put much effort into this. Stuff like that, I personally I'm waiting for Star Citizen 1.0 for. Right now, the stuff I do in the game is more for my own enjoyment and testing naturally because I'm doing the things I'm enjoying. I definitely don't want to grind for something only for it to get wiped, so I'm not going to do any of that. Here is my fleet as it currently stands. I've slowly been eliminating the smaller ships I used to have and been changing those into big ships. Now you will notice some big ships on here. One important thing to know about some of these big ships, and there's several of them, Polaris, Nautilus, Perseus, Merchantman, Hull D, all of those, oh, and Orion. All of those I got from somebody. Like they had them, They were able to gift them to me. I paid them a very small amount of money, essentially what they had paid for it way back years and years ago. So, like, the Orion was like essentially whatever the original concept price was. The the Polaris, I think I got for like, I don't know, it was like $350 or something crazy. A lot of the ships are like that. So even though the fleet looks big, I did not pay the full concept price for a lot of these ships. So I had to work the magic a little bit. So this is the current fleet. Some of these are not permanent for sure. Some of the ships I would say are in that possible, could be melted one day. List would probably be stuff like the C2, because I have an ironclad, so I'm not going to have both the C2 and the ironclad. The assault ironclad is very much I want to wait and see what that's all about. The Star Lancer probably won't survive in my hangar long term. And then what else do I have that possibly can go? The Intrepid is more something. That's just my melt token that I always have. I melt it and buy new stuff and check it out. The Banu Merchantman is something that I don't know what I want to do with it, but I paid so little for it. I literally paid like 200 for it or something like that, that melting it would sort of suck because I'd lose out on a lot of money. The Idris will probably be melted at some point, or the credit used for whatever the next, or for a different capital. I would prefer a more command and control capital or an E-war capital. That probably won't stand the test of time. So when I pull that out of here, you can start to see the fleet shape up. And while there is some combat stuff in here, you'll see there's a lot of industrial as well. And I do put cargo in the industrial category, right? So my Kraken is in support of industrial operations. Orion, Hull D, Pioneer, Reclaimer. The ironclads I put with industrial again because they're cargo related, so I'm going to use them for industrial cargo purposes. Carrick is more exploratory. The Galaxy is going to be industrial for refining. So again, when you start putting my combat ships up in the corner, they start getting diminished. And the Javelin, I probably won't even use it in its combat. It'll probably be more just like a fleet flagship to scare other people. But then you look through a lot of my ships, it's a lot of general purpose and industrial ships, right? So Vulture, Raft, CL, Zeus, C1, Spirit. So there's a lot in here. There's a lot of little like combat stuff that you just get from being concierge and stuff, F8Cs and stuff like that. So that's my current fleet. Again, I don't know. It's some of this has just been because I was eager to support the project and I made the jump, but Execute says we need to fix this shite ASAP. Are you talking about my fleet? Execute, are you talking about my fleet? You should jump in chat and tell me what's wrong with it. I'll put you on the spot and make you call out the Grim fleet. Oh, I'm getting hammered about my fleet already. Execute's not happy. He's not happy with what he's seeing there. He's not pleased. Oh, let's see. Is he? Oh, there he is. I'll bring him down. There he is. Are you not happy with my fleet?
No, it's fine. It's just that there's a lot of small ships that you could trim.
There's like a lot. Yeah. There's a lot. There's some that I kind of forget why they're even in there. I don't know totally how I got them. But you're right. There's a lot of small stuff that I don't need. And
a lot of double ups too.
There's some double ups for sure. So today, for example, I went through my hangar and I melted just garbage. I melted guns I bought and like a jacket I bought for like clothing, all
Mm.
this stuff. I melted a bunch of crap and I ended up with $138. And I said, okay, if I'm gonna get my C1 back, because I just watched your Crusader video yesterday, or was it today? And you were talking about how much you use the C1. I was like, damn it, I do miss that ship. And I literally was able to melt pure crap and get my C1 back.
So I did that, and I had enough to get a Pioneer.
Oh, gee, that's even worse. Okay, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah. Oh, well, the other day I was in my hangar.
Yeah.
And I keep going back and looking at it now. I had 139 CCUs.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I going to do with 139 CCUs? But then when I build a chain, like I built a chain recently, to get to a ship, and just to get to like $200, there was like 20 CCUs.
Yeah,
like there's so many I can connect together. That's why I've got so many.
It's really daunting. Again, everyone, I encourage you, if you have never done it, to go to hangar.link, load in your hangar, and it can organize and show you all the stuff you have, including flare, guns you've bought, whatever the case may be, furniture you've bought off the store, and it will show you how much money you have spent there, and you might be shocked. I went through my hangar with a fine-tooth comb today and found that I had 6. There's like a 6 paint pack for the Spirit. I had 3 of them, which means I had bought it, forgot I owned it, and bought it again, and I did that 3 times.
Twice. Oh my god.
So,
well.
So
it's just,
and those things are like, like $15 or $20 a piece. So when you melt 2 of those, boom, you got $40 credit. You got a starter pack worth of credit immediately.
So someone in chat, Jeff Momo, saying, how can I do that? Maybe you should show them with yours.
I can do that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to hangar.link, right? You're going to go to hangar.link. You're going to right here on the front page, there's a Hangar Link Connect extension you can get for your browser. If you don't see these buttons here, there'll be a button to get the extension. You download the extension to your Chrome. You will click. It will connect to your Hangar. It does not pull any of your credit card data. This is just JSON information from the Hangar. It's not pulling any credit card, financials, nothing like that. CIG does not give anyone access to that. You can sleep safely. But it pulls, just like Starship 42, that website, or any of the other websites that are able to analyze your hangar, it does it the same way. But once you connect it, then you can click on the button that says retrieve all of your data, or retrieve your pledges, or retrieve your buybacks. I just do all. But once you do that, you then can go into Hangar Link here, and it has all your stuff listed. And the great thing is I could literally type Spirit, right? And it shows everything I own for that. So I have a 3 paint pack. I have a 6 paint pack. They are different, by the way. The 3 paint pack is the concierge one. I have the Ruby paint. I have a foundation STV. I don't know why that's coming up. Oh, so it has a STV Foundation Festival referral bonus that I CCU'd to a Spirit E1. So it lists the Spirit E1 here. So it shows the ship that it was and what it's been CCU'd to. And then it has my standalone C1 right here that I just picked up today. It tells you which ones are meltable, which ones are giftable, which ones have what their insurance is. But then over here, it shows you the cost and then what you spent on it. Because sometimes those things can be different.
This is probably a big ask, but does it show you the contents of the skins in the pack?
It does not. I was curious about that myself. I was wondering if that is information that can be scraped and entered into this, because at first when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should just melt the 3 paint pack because I got the 6. But then I went and looked, and it's actually 2 different things. The 3 paint pack is that concierge thing they did.
You know how you can click the little triangle and it actually like unfolds on the website? It'd be kind of cool if you could kind of do something similar there and it just shows you the contents.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Because I was going to ask, do you have a Spirit, an Olympia Spirit paint? But I'm assuming it's in one of those paint packs.
I do. But it was in one of those paint packs. But that's the cool thing with this, everybody, is you can look for anything. So if I type on if I just type chair in the search bar, it shows that I have the salvage skull lounge chair, and then 2 subscriber store chairs, because I sometimes I subscribe to the game, sometimes I don't. And again, it shows you what's meltable. If something has a $0 value, then boom, it's $0. But again, if that was an impulse buy, which sometimes they are, I fall victim to it just like anyone else. I can look on here and go, oh, okay, I don't need these two stupid things. Melt those. That's $30 in credit right there that I just got. It doesn't take long before you're sitting on $150 worth of credit that you can now buy a ship that's actually useful in the game right now. You know what I mean?
On a slight side tangent, I was looking at spirit skins today, and one of the skins, believe it or not, this is funny going back in hindsight because they're obviously brought out a couple of years ago now, but one of them is literally called the Intrepid.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. Yeah, it's funny. It's a nice paint too. It's funny. I wonder if that was like a little clue. Sandgroper says
like
melt Sandgroper says melt your paints, people. What do you think about that? I know you're a paint collector.
I have at least one skin for every ship in the game, but I don't buy packs. So I'm very different to what like Grim is. I buy all my skins individually and melt them into buyback. I don't have a problem with having one skin, but I think if you've got more, like you can have one per ship. So in the case of Grim here, where he's got 2 spirits, he could have 2 skins. But any more than that, and because I've got some ships like the MSR, right? I don't have a single purchased skin for the MSR.
Yeah.
Yet I've got like 6 skins for it because of the free ones they've given out over the years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of skins that you don't even need to pay for. I don't think they're doing as many free ones as anymore, though, are they? They've really kind of drawn that back.
Yeah. I also, the way I do it is I kind of the opposite of you, where I will buy all the paints for a ship, but I only do it for a select number of my ships. So, for example, I bought all the paints for the Corsair because the Corsair is one of my favorite ships. I bought all the paints for the Spirit because I love it. I bought all the paints for the Zeus. So those are like 3 ships that I got all the paints for. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like other ships like the Carrack or the C2 Hercules, I have 1 paint for the Carrack, 1 paint for the Hercules. The Polaris as well, I only bought 1 paint because only one of them I liked. So that's kind of how I do it. Like my Cuddy Black, there's lots of paints for the Cuddies. I have 1 of them. But it's only a few ships where I'll buy all the paints. And those are kind of ships that I feel like pretty strongly that I'm going to always have that ship. Maybe for nostalgia reasons, usefulness reasons, whatever the case may be.
So getting back to your actual fleet, I see there is like a lot of technical double ups, right? So or half and half. So like if we I'm just going to take one example, and this is not trying to pick on you or anything like that. It's just to show an example, right? So you've essentially got a Javelin and Idris and a Kraken.
Yeah.
Yet the Kraken does more of the support. So it's like almost like like 100% support. The Javelin does like 100% damage, and then the Idris is like 50-50. So the dead weight there is clearly the Idris.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost, and the reason I'll give you this is if you have like a Redeemer, a Connie, and a Corsair. I had all 3 of those, and I lost the Corsair because I didn't need it because I had a more dedicated gunship and I had a more generalist ship. But they, just so you know, the Redeemer and the Connie are listed as gunships.
Right.
But the Corsair had no reason to be there. Like it's also a gunship, so it just had to go. But again, like with the way things are going, I try to get people to look at, like when you do these with people, they're like a self-intervention. It's like them telling you things, and you just reflect them back at them. You're making them ask questions about their purchasing decisions. It's literally not me tearing you a new asshole and tearing you down. It's just to make you think different and go, well, do I really need this? Especially if they're sitting there going, I want this new ship and I can't afford it. Well, you go, well, what would you prefer over that?
Yeah.
So it's just getting people to ask the questions.
And I think that's really great. I mean, I did a Fix My Fleet with you and Algrid a long time ago when my fleet was much different. And
it was.
Much different. And it's funny, like I said before you popped on voice, a lot of these ships I got for bottom barrel dollars. Some of them I got for less than what the concept price was because someone was being very nice to me. Shout out STARJUMP Starlet. When Starlet was offloading a bunch of ships, I took advantage. So, for example, I won't say the price because she told me not to, but some of these ships I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
for damn near nothing. Like my Perseus. I was never going to
Yeah.
get one of those, but it was such a low price that not getting it would have been stupid. So,
Yeah.
you know, I really lucked up in terms of the amount I've had to spend, but
Mhm.
definitely, like I said, there's few of these that are already earmarked to go. I mean, that's without a doubt. You know, the C2 Hercules, I
Mhm.
can't see having that when I have an Ironclad, for example. The
Yeah.
Ironclad's not too much bigger. It is bigger for sure, but it's not so much bigger, but it carries way more cargo.
Yeah, I agree. But one of the discussions we've been having in the last few days about the Hercules is VTOL versus non-VTOL.
Yeah.
So while it does less cargo in atmosphere, it's technically going to be better than the Ironclad. So
Yeah.
from space station to space station will be the Ironclad. But when you really need to get a decent amount of cargo, well, it's going to beat the Caterpillar in that regard as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
there is
probably,
still
yeah.
all these things to come that we can't
Well,
can't really visualize.
That's something I'm interested to see on the Ironclad is the Kraken, which we know is going to inform a lot of the parts and pieces are going to transfer from the Ironclad. There's going to be a lot of crossover pieces that go to the Kraken probably. But
Mhm.
the Kraken is described as having, I think it's 12 or 16 integrated VTOLs on the bottom of its hull. So they're not the primary engines, they don't rotate, but they're just integrated VTOLs. I'm very curious to see if they do that on the Ironclad just for crossover sakes. I don't think it's ever been mentioned that the Ironclad has any integrated VTOLs. If it does, then again, it's another feather in its cap. But again, it was just hard for me to reconcile like having a Hercules when I had an Ironclad. And then again, I was talking with you the other day. I think I said this earlier on stream too. Having the Idris in game and playing around with it, me and VMXEO had some Scorpiuses and we were doing landings and takeoffs and trying to put the MPUV on the bottom. I have found that that small threshold of that internal hangar, you know, how I won't say tall it is, but how tall it is, how wide it is, and that threshold for maneuvering inside of it, it just cemented the fact to me that the Kraken is my carrier of choice. That open deck is it's gonna wipe the floor in terms of like what's the better carrier ship. Now, obviously, the Idris has other benefits, which is great, but just from a pure carrier standpoint, and yeah, I know a lot of people will say, well, the Idris carries them internal, and I think that is going to be a big deal for sure. But for small ships on the Kraken's deck,
remember what I said to that
Yeah.
when you said that?
Yeah.
Do you want me to share that?
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
remember I said, well, I would have designed the Idris differently. I
Yeah.
never would have had it a front to back door approach. I would have had it side to side because then you could have literally have landed individually and taken off individually. At the moment, it's like you're in a pipe and you have to wait for the guy that went in first to leave.
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show chat. I'm going to show you something. This is not final. I still have a lot of work to do to it, but I liked that idea, and I said to myself, I want to see what something like that would be. So I started like 3D kit bashing, and essentially came up with again. There's going to be more to it. I want to cut the entire side out, but I started to look like what a carrier ship that had a side to side sort of hangar opening would look like. And that's what you're seeing here at the Idris. Again, I'm just chopping right now. I want to chop the rest of it out too. But I still think that'd be a pretty cool idea. I still think you need more.
I think you need to render that out with a really nice space background and call it like the Idris S, and then just go found in files and then just see watch the fireworks, bro. That'd be so funny. People are like, where the fuck is this? Get in my life.
Yeah, we'll start trolling people hard with some wrong 3D renders.
It does hold less ships. Yeah, my actual concept was like 3, but sideways. So right now that only looks really like you could have 1 in it. But again,
and I wasn't even looking at it for the Idris. I was almost thinking, I was just doing this exercise to think, well, what if they did a whole new carrier ship that was a whole new design, better suited for flying out the side? I think you could do that. As a matter of fact, if you were going to pick a ship that's like perfect for that, it'd be something like an Ironclad, only much bigger. And one of the reasons is because the the ironclad's thrusters are all shifted towards the back, so there's no like interference with that. Where the Idris does have thrusters that I had to move. There was thrusters on the side here that I chopped off and moved to the rear, so I just kind of moved into the back. But again, this is just an exercise. This isn't anything I'm proposing, chat. But I did think it was interesting. It would make me wonder what a carrier ship designed to carry ships in that fashion, like how popular that would be. Because I got to tell you, even though the hangar on the Idris is front to back, which makes sense for the direction of travel for a ship, trying that in practice, like trying to land on that thing in practice, if the Idris is moving, it is an extremely dangerous operation to try to fly a ship into a moving Idris and land. Idris really needs to be stopped. At which point,
the negative is that it has to be dead stop, and that's probably why they did it front to back in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And my argument is, if it has to be dead stop, well, then technically you could have ships come in from the side because they don't have to worry about getting hit by the carrier because it's stopped. I mean, again, this all goes back to ultimately the best scenario is the Kraken. It just flying the Idris around a lot, just from a pure carrier standpoint, has really shown me that the Kraken, if you want to get into carrier operations, the Kraken is the ship you should focus on. So Lazy says it sounds like a skill issue, Graham. It probably is. I am known to ram into shit in game. So everyone, we do have a big day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Anvil. I definitely look out for a video from, I'm assuming the info runners are popping out the video.
I'll be doing
it solo.
I'll be getting up in about 12 hours. Yeah. Oh, well, I know.
I was hoping to do it with you, but I'm actually going to be, I'm being interviewed for my job. Not like a job interview. My job is interviewing me for a big thing that they're putting out on LinkedIn. It's kind of an interview about my career. So I'm being shot and recorded. It's a whole thing now. So.
Yeah, I think our grid is actually going to get up early and do it with me because it is technically Friday here, so he will technically he just didn't realize what the time was going to be, but it's really going to stuff us both around because so we're getting up at about I get up about 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the sale drops 15 minutes later. Then we look what's available, and then we pretty much go straight into recording, as you know.
Yeah.
So we generally finish by about 3 a.m., but then we usually stream at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
So we're at this conundrum now. Do we just start streaming early? And plus we also have to do a buyer's guide on the Asgard. So it's going to be a very full day for us. I'm almost tempted just to drop the stream for this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Anvil Asgard tomorrow, for those of you excited about it. It is, to me, the vehicle dropship is what its primary role is. But it's an interesting ship, definitely has an interesting armament. It is, and again, everybody, it is done for Fleet Viewer along with all the other ships. And yes, the Atlas Geo is part of that. I know the Atlas Geo never made it into Fleet Viewer, but it is done. Starlight has all that stuff. She is going to push it to live. She assured me yesterday she was getting around to that. She's just been incredibly busy with work. But all the ships are done. They look great. Asgard, you can see here, it's going to be a cool ship. I guess the big question mark with this one is price point, and we'll see. Death and Rebirth says, Grim, how game work? It works good for me, Death, but Star Citizen is shining its light on me in the last few patches and has been very playable. So
I was just in Eva Cardi before I came in here, or while I was listening to you.
Yeah.
And they've added the storms in from CitizenCon.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. I'm excited.
I was doing a very short, like 170 kilometer warp across Pyro 1, which is a very blue, stormy planet. I don't know what to explain it. But anyway, as I'm warping across, I was in a Guardian MX, and I got struck by lightning from a cloud below me.
Really?
Right? Because I was going just across the top of the clouds as I was warping across, and it struck me, completely disabled the vehicle like it'd been EMP'd, and I just started falling towards the planet, and as I got under the clouds, I tried turning the engines back on, and all the MFDs were pure black, and they wouldn't come back on.
Oh,
and I
wow.
spun all the way to the ground and exploded.
Oh, that's killer.
And when I got under the clouds, it was all like pissing with rain and everything.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
So yeah, it was like shit. Like the environment be deadly.
Oh man, I'm excited for it. I really am. Death, sorry to hear about that. The game can be a fickle mistress, my friend. Guardian is talking about price. By the way, everyone, make sure you go check out Guardian's channel, of course. Bingo says, question, do we know for sure the SCU of the Asgard? I think the SCU count did come out.
180.
180, okay.
180. Yeah. Yeah, double the Valkyrie.
Honey Thumb saying Asgard 400. Is it official? Is that official? No, I don't think it'll be 400. I would never pay 400 for the Asgard.
I unfortunately think it is going to be 400. I think it's going to be more expensive than the Valkyrie. It just makes sense. So it carries more. It's got twice as much cargo.
Yeah, this is where me and you have this is where I disagree with you a little bit. I think the thing that limits the Asgard's price is not the Valkyrie, but it's the C2. I just don't. I mean, at what point do you just go, "Oh, the hell with it"? The price is so close. I'm going to pay the extra. What is it, $20, and go to $420 for the C2? Am I right on the C2 price?
I'm just double checking that. Because I had an inkling. I mean, just give me a second.
You know, so I was thinking a little cheaper than the Valkyrie. I was thinking more like $350 or something like that. But go ahead.
Well, you got $475 on the Valk.
$375 on the Valk, right?
Yeah, sorry, what did I say? $475. Yeah, I meant to say $3. Yeah, I meant to say $3. So there's $25 gap there. I'm just trying to think. I can't think of any other ship that's in that price point. I know there's one in there. I'm just trying to think of what it is.
So they're saying the C2 is 400 Warbond, I guess. But that's my question.
That's what it is.
Is the Asgard a competitor to the C2 in terms of, you know, like, does its price get too close to the C2? Would you think of that as possibly a limiting factor?
You gotta.
They could price it?
It's a tough one because
it caused a shitstorm because people would be mad they wouldn't be able to CCU their Valks to the Asgard.
Yep.
You know.
Well, yeah. So realistically, I don't think it matters. You see, because if you make it $10 cheaper, it doesn't matter. Right, because you can already do it. So why wouldn't they just make that $10? Do the math. So for example, if it's $390, you cannot upgrade your Hercules to a Valk. So your Hercules to an Asgard. So it doesn't matter. So you might as well make it the same, so they can make $10 more.
Yeah.
So I think it is going to be $400.
That's interesting. I'm excited to see. I mean, we're going to know in not too many more hours from now, we will have an answer. I'm still sticking around 350, but we will see. We will see. It'll be really interesting to see that.
Just from your memory, if you're in Hangar Link, I don't know if you can bring them up, but from my memory, the Valkyrie was on a medium pad, so like an S3 pad, right? From my memory, I could be wrong here, right?
Yep.
And so that makes it the same size as like a Cutlass, a Spirit, a Zeus, right?
Yeah.
And for some bizarre reason, someone what website was it? Well, some website was saying that it's a size 4, which made it the same size as the Connie, the Apollo, and like the Ironclad and things like that. And I was like, that is wrong.
Let me see here. So
I don't know which website it was though, but like. So I just wanted you to ask you your personal opinion. What size do you think it is?
Well, so the Zeus series is 46 meters long, and the Valkyrie is technically 46 meters long.
Yeah, that's what they're both mediums. Essentially.
Yeah, the Cuddy is smaller. That's the Cutlass.
But they're still the same.
Is 36
size. Is what I'm talking.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Once you get up to like Connie, the Connie's quite a bit bigger. I just typed Connie. The Connie's is bigger, 61 meters. That's starting to grow. Yeah.
You should actually have all those tags, because I can't tell you the number of times I've typed in BMM in that bloody thing and it doesn't come up.
Yeah, the nickname, like the acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah. All the acronyms and nicknames would be handy as fuck to have.
Would be. Yeah. Now we do have. Let's see. Do I have the landing pad? Let me check off official landing. So yeah, so the extra small.
See, I'd be
medium.
changing all those. I'd be changing all those to go S1 through to S6.
Yeah, we could always rename these large. And
Yeah, you can see there.
capital.
So the Cuddy, the Valkyrie, and the CL all land on the M.
Yeah, they can all land on there.
And then the Connie lands on the L1. Yeah. Yeah, but there was somewhere I was reading that they had it listed wrong, and I'm like, are you insane? Like you're trying to say that it's designed to land on that? I remember you and I looking at the Zeus and them being exactly the same length, and that was like, there's no way.
Yeah, and I can't remember if our landing pads are before their increase they did. What was that?
Yeah.
Recently, a few patches back, they scaled some of them up, so I'd have to look at that, but we may make some adjustments. But yeah.
So the Valkyrie and Asgard, look, let's be honest, they are very expensive, but you get a very condensed ship in a very small package. Like some of the features in that ship, you'd have to agree, are very large base features. Like look at the Valkyrie, 5 people, 20 troops, 4 cyclones. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people in a medium ship.
It is.
Right?
It really is.
And that's why it's so expensive. You're getting a lot in a very small package.
And for those unsure, the Mole, the Valkyrie, the Asgard, they're like the biggest of the medium ships.
The Mole is the
I think the Mole's 48 meters, so it's the biggest. But once you get past the Mole, then you get into like large, like the smallest of the large category.
Yeah, the smallest of the large is the Apollo, and there's not a lot of difference between the Apollo and the Mole. It's like 1 or 2 meters, but it's that's the borderline.
And I've actually wondered about that a little bit. I don't think they have, but I've been wondering if the Apollo's going to grow a little bit, not huge, but maybe 10 meters or so. And the reason I've been wondering that is because of exactly what you just said. I think it's already on the large pad, but it's kind of the smallest thing. So I'm wondering if they're like, oh, we got room, so maybe it stretches a little bit.
Maybe it gets a lot of speed to go with that size. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it can get to places quickly.
Yeah, it's the same thing when like people say, "Oh, the Kraken's definitely going to grow." I don't, like I said, I don't think the Kraken's going to grow again, because when you look at the landing pad sizes, the capital landing pad's 290 meters long. The Kraken's 270 already. Sure, it could grow another 10 meters or something, but it's not going to grow a lot. It's not going to go to like 350 meters. Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah, it's not, because also John Crew and Ben said when we talked to them that there is so much empty space.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just a lot of
and when they mentioned the reconcepting, I think that's more to add things into it. Like they've talked about going back and adding medical facilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think after seeing what happened this week with the T kit that came out for the Idris, I think if you have a Kraken, and I put this to you as everyone else in chat, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this, I would be preparing for other kits other than just the privateer. I'd be expecting at least 1, if not 2, to be in the same number of them as the Idris.
Yeah.
I don't know what those kits will be, but obviously all the ones for the Idris are combat related. I would have to think that they're more utility related, like the shops for the privateer. Yeah. I don't know what they would be. I don't know. Maybe you and I can do a theory crafting thing one time. Like, what could you turn the Kraken into?
Yeah.
The whole flying shopping mall thing.
That is the Kraken on the capital pad. You can see it takes up all the space. I completely agree with you. I think there is definitely going to be some kit options for the Kraken. As a matter of fact, I think for capital ships in general, we're going to see more stuff like that, because they want to maximize the appeal.
I just thought of one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just looking at that image from above, right? So see how you've got 4 pads on one side and then the 2 medium on the other?
Yeah.
What if you make it so you could have 4 medium pads or 8 smalls? Can you see that? Because it's just doubled. So if you took off the 2 medium pads on the bottom, you could essentially flip the 4 smalls on the top to the other side, and then have 8.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'd also flip the mediums to the other side and have 4 mediums.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
That's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because then it allows you to tailor it to whatever you're doing. So if you are going, like, again, say you're going on a boarding operation and you're going with Valkyries and Asgards, you could just have 4 medium pads.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So like a military staging vessel. So it adds like a whole bunch of like living quarters for troops and stuff like that. I could see that as a variant, but man, we could here be all night guessing what this thing could do.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could see maybe the kits. See, we don't totally know this yet, but maybe future kits are relegated to more to armament. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, our best example for combat or for capital kits are armament related, and they could easily do that to the Kraken. I mean, it's got a lot of turret hard points, obviously, but you know there could be a kit that, who knows, slaps a damn beam weapon on the front for all we know. We really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in terms of full-on variants, though, like the Privateer, I mean, I've said multiple times that the Kraken makes a better hospital ship than the Endeavor Hope, in my opinion. So, you know,
absolutely.
Not that I know what the future for hospital gameplay is, but you know what I mean. It's like the perfect hospital ship, because the ambulances can land right on it and get the patients right to. But I agree with you, Execute. I don't think any of the reconcepting, because I've heard a lot of people say this too recently, that the whole ship's going to change. I think the exterior is going to stay mostly the same. I think it's still going to be the ship we all know and love. It's just internally it's going to change a lot.
Yeah, I was just here thinking as well, like, remember how we used to talk about how you could have things like a lot of prospectors and vultures and stuff like that brought to an area to mine or salvage with a small vessel.
Yeah.
Also, like, then putting a refinery on this so that they're coming back to this and dropping all their stuff off.
Yeah.
That would work really well as well. So turning into it like a utility hub.
Well, that's what I would love from this ship. I would love a kit that is a switch out of stuff inside the ship to make it more of an industrial support ship. I mean, it can definitely support industrial operations as is, but like you just said, if there's things that go into this that add to that synergy, whether it's refinery, crafting stations, whatever, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I could see the Kraken possibly getting a crafting station inside of it. Maybe. I only say that because we seem to have found that in a lot of Drake ships at this point. Vulture.
Well, it's already got those. It's already got those 2 repair hangar things. So why wouldn't
it? Yeah.
And again, that just leads into that industrial aspect. So you've essentially got repair, salvage, and refining, because essentially, if you're going out and mining and recollecting those resources, either through recycling and salvage or collection based on mining, you refine them, turn those resources, but then you can also turn back around and repair those said ships. But what if you also, you remember what I said about when we were building your Argo capital about it crafting ships? What if that's what this could do? It actually has a hangar on it that can craft a ship.
Sure. Why not? Exactly. Yeah, why not?
Man.
Yeah.
Kraken could be really interesting if it was
lots of ideas.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. That's what I mean. There's too many. Many.
Everyone, I got to wrap it up. It's getting late, but I want to thank Execute for coming here and talking ships with me, as he always does, which I always appreciate.
You're welcome.
The St. Jude thing is still going on, by the and it's been amazing so far. So thank you everybody for your donations. We're up to 18,800 for this this year's push, 35,243 a lifetime. So a big thanks to that. Do not forget the raffles that are currently going on. Do not forget on May 30th for our finale St. Jude show, we're going to be raffling off a Polaris, an Anvil Asgard, a Guardian MX, and 2 STARJUMP challenge coins. So make sure you show up for that. It's going to be a good show. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, don't forget to buy your tickets to Quantum Vegas. I am 100% confirmed to be going and doing a panel now. I'm already a little concerned about this panel. But
so if I buy a ticket to Quantum Vegas, you buy me the flight? That's how this works, right?
You know, from where you are, what's that flight? It'll only be like 20 grand or something.
No. Well, I think the last time I looked, it's about $1,000 a return.
Yeah. Oh,
$1,000 Australian dollars, so
right.
so it's not that expensive. It's less than a Kraken.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time though. I really am looking forward to it. So, all right, let's see here. Going to send you. You know what? I'm going to send you over to someone I have not rated in a while. But I met him at Equinox, and he was a really awesome dude. We had a great conversation. He was actually the moderator on my panel at Equinox. I'm going to send you over to Henkin. Make sure you give Henkin some STARJUMP love and give him a follow if you haven't. I really appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight. It's been a lot of fun talking ships and talking 4.2 and all the other controversial stuff we talked about with blades and bomb racks. Everyone got to hear
Ask
me
him about. Ask Henkin about Korean barbecue. And it was really funny. I'll tell you this really funny story. So where me, Piggles, and Algrid go to meet him, Dark Law, Moist Noodle, and Henkin for Korean barbecue. And we actually ran into Aaron Roberts and
nice.
Brian Chambers outside, but that's another story. And when we get inside, Henkin's like, "Oh yeah, it's like an all-you-eat eat buffet." And I was feeling quite sick. I think I had COVID, so I just got like something really small.
Yeah. And
these guys go all in, thinking it's like a buffet. And then after everything's been ordered and they've eaten it all, it comes up and it's like, "Oh, it's not a buffet." And it cost them like a ridiculous amount of money because they've eaten all this food. And Henkin's like, "Oh, sorry guys."
Well, then he absolutely deserves a little STARJUMP love. So
Yeah.
we're going to send you over there, everybody. Have a great night. Do something kind for a stranger. It was a lot of fun hanging out. I might be streaming with my daughter tomorrow, doing some Roblox and Minecraft. Stay tuned for that. Everyone, have a great night. Talk to you later. Salute.
Bye.